All right, so let's have a look.
Oh.
So things are kind of a little bit cramped in here because I was just not sure how much. I wasn't really sure how much was 1,500 points anymore. So I brought like a bunch of things. Just let me know if we're still in view or anything.
Yeah, everything's in view, mate.
So I think this army, the very first model I had for this army was this one. It was like my transition from. I got into Rogue Trader when I was way too young to actually be playing with Rogue Trader models because they were probably poisonous.
Yes, don't eat this. It's full of lead.
Yeah, this is not a toy.
This product contains lead.
Yeah, totally. But when I moved to Chile in 1992, after living in Sydney, a friend of mine gave me this bad boy.
Right.
The model that is also a weapon. He's had a bit of a bent. It's bent his nail a little bit.
Yeah, so please remember when you see these models, like Camilo painted these back in the 90s, and they've never been taken out of this. They haven't been taken out of this case.
No, I sometimes look at them and kind of think of
the good old days.
Well, of like, should I finish that? Should I start them again? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Please feel free to touch and move around so that they're like in view if you like, or however you. Whatever you need.
We'll definitely do some close-ups
for sure.
in the next part, mate. We'll definitely, when you look at your list.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's not glued together. He's modular. And like incredibly heavy. He's very chipped, as you probably know. Like, once again, this model was painted with original, the 92 era, 92, 94 era Citadel colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shadow grey.
Yep.
As per apparently the original Rogue Trader era had like a color called blue grey that then became shadow grey, something like that.
Okay. Because I think those models were painted in the old original style, like the blue grey. Yeah. That's what the color they used. Yeah. Because the 94 stuff came later, because these were released during Rogue Trader.
I think so Space Wolf Codex predates the Space Marine Codex. So apparently Space Wolf Codex is the first of the...
It came first.
The second edition codices.
But like, as you can see at those boxes there, that's all Rogue Trader.
Yeah. So I had...
Before second edition came out.
Yeah, so I had all of those boxes except... No, I don't think I had all of those boxes. I had the box at the top. In fact, I've got them here.
Oh, cool. Fangs, yeah.
Yeah, so this is... One of my biggest regrets with this one is that I spray prime them. Yeah. With like a... Without really knowing how to spray prime. So it's got like that fuzz,
bubbles. The
pebbly look.
Furry kind of thing. Yeah, right.
So the long fangs. And these are sort of, they were kind of very much painted in the box style. Yeah. But like, when I look at the paints, I'm like, Duncan Rose would slap me around.
No, that's a pretty good name for a young Camilo.
These have like, they don't have 2 thin coats, they have 3 thick coats.
Yep, I think they look good.
This one's kind of funny because he's got the hand from the bike. The hand from the motorbike handlebars to have that sort of like...
Right.
These came, I actually had these later because the first one I had was this one, and then I think the second ones I had were a box of a blister of 3 blood cores.
Right.
Which have since sort of became part of just the general.
Yeah. They're just assimilated into the general
this is a
range of stuff. We're sort of Camilo's referencing the boxes I got on the wall there.
Yeah. I'm just having a look to see whether any of the ones that I have with me at the moment were actually blood cores to start with.
Yeah.
Because at first I didn't really have an army until I think mid-90s. It would have been the mid-90s when I started really kind of like thinking about an army. So this one would have been painted around like 96 maybe. So this is like nearly 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn!
I know, mate.
So basically something that happened in the change between second and third edition was that, well, second edition Space Wolves could always take assault weapons.
Yep.
So...
What, they changed it in 3rd edition?
No. In 3rd edition, they automatically came with a bolter and a chainsword. Like most Marines had either a bolter or a bolt pistol chainsword.
Right, okay, gotcha.
Whereas Space Wolves in 3rd edition could. But the reason I brought that up is because I used to use a lot of assault weapons in my Grey Hunters. Because I didn't really use Blood Claws. Even though I had, my first blister was Blood Claws. So I scrounged. So back then, you had one chainsaw per assault weapon sprue.
Yep.
Do you remember?
Yep, I remember.
And it came with a power fist.
Yep.
A chainsword, a power axe,
yep.
a plasma pistol,
yep.
a hand flamer, auto pistol.
That's right.
The really chunky auto pistol, and a bolt pistol, I think.
Yeah.
So I worked really hard because, remember, I was in Chile, so the supply was very limited.
Yeah.
To get 4 actual chainswords into my squad.
Cool.
So those 4 chainswords are from assault weapon sprues. But I couldn't get chainsaws for everyone, so what I did was my friend started getting into Imperial Guard, and he started getting the boxes of 3rd edition Catachans that came with swords. So that's where these swords came from.
Ah, right.
But if you'll notice, so this is something. So on Instagram, I'm known for converting Infinity models. That's my thing.
Yeah.
But that all began with me chopping up these arms.
Right.
So these arms have all been what I would do is, so I think this arm hasn't been customized.
Yeah.
This one has had at the kind of shoulder.
You just reposition the.
So I would cut them up.
Wrist. Yeah.
I would cut them up either at the wrist and the shoulder, and so I really got into that, which makes them a pain in the ass to put in the.
You make it more dynamic, but then you sacrifice.
Then you suffer for it. So this one's one of my favorite conversions from when I was a kid.
Okay.
I shortened the haft of the power axe.
Cool.
And I kind of gave him the shield there, and this idea of him being, a Viking, shield and axe kind of person.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. He's nice.
Thank you. So basically, these are these were all in the mid 90s. So I can kind of tell which ones are the older ones because I would put this army marking on them that apparently every miniature was supposed to have. But I kind of gave up on that.
Right, so they're different. So one's like Blood Claws, they have certain markings.
No. So the Blood Claw. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I had to bring a Blood Claw because I couldn't, because Mum came to visit in Australia a while back. Just last year, and she said to me "Oh, please give me some of your models." So I was like,
nice,
So I gave her one from each era.
Right,
so I had an RTBO one.
Yeah. The Beaky Marine.
One of these. Cool. So I was left with one less.
Right.
So that allows me to explain the markings on the Space Wolves. So the basic trooper, the tactical marine of the Space Wolves is the Grey Hunter.
Yeah.
And they were black and red, red background, black symbols.
Yep.
Then the Blood Claws, which were meant to be like the assault marines, but also kind of like the scouts.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, kind of like the neophytes in later. So, and they were yellow background, red. Then you have the Long Fangs, which are black on white.
Yep.
And then you have the Wolf Guard, which are basically like veteran marines, and they are. You have to look at the shoulder pad on this. Oh, sorry, the the knee pad on this one. The black on yellow.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the... And then the scouts were meant to be red on white, but I don't have any scouts from that era. There's some really cool scout models from that era. The scout sergeants, the Space Force scout sergeants are awesome.
With the huge, like the hair and that kind of Elvis.
The Elvis looking one. Yeah. And there's like a Necromunda version of that one.
Like a bounty hunter guy.
Yeah. I've got him at home. Yeah, right. I'm thinking of stripping and painting. We're gonna see whether Josh is able to convince me to get back into it.
Oh, mate, we're gonna convince you, right?
So this is one of the first characters that I had for this army.
The Iron Priest.
Yep, Iron Priest.
I love that model.
I never liked the big chunky
servo arm on the back of it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So I kind of kept him without it.
Yeah.
So he's usually like...
He's got the hammer, mate. He's going to hammer it back into shape.
Yeah, that's it. That's his job. And usually, like, in a 2,000-point game...
Wow, okay.
I would play 2 double Dreadnoughts.
Nice, okay.
But this is a 3rd edition Dreadnought.
Sure, this is the one, the plastic then.
The plastic one, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
My only regret with this plastic one is that he's glued to that base. I think I'd like to cut him off the base because he doesn't really need it. And it's too low.
Yeah, they did a good job on the plastic kits, though. I like
this Dreadnought, this plastic Dreadnought's awesome. I think the thing that was really awesome about this one is that it came with like a full set of weapons. Oh, so this one's actually an interesting model because he's a late 2nd edition, maybe early 3rd edition,
right?
But it's still when they were still making metal miniatures, because the top half of him is from White Scars Bike Squad.
Right. Okay.
3 White Scars on bikes.
Yep.
So I wasn't able to bring them because they aren't fully painted, so it wasn't really worth bringing them. Yeah. But I have like 8 of the old bikes.
Cool.
And I think an attack bike.
What, the old Rogue Trader ones, the metal ones?
No.
Plastic ones.
I have an old Tech Marine on a Rogue Trader metal bike. But no, the 2nd edition plastic bikes. The ones of the Marines will look good.
Yeah.
But I've changed most of their bodies.
Right, okay.
With like 3rd edition Space Wolf stuff. So this guy's really interesting because I lost the body of one. I was too young to have these figures. So this guy has Rogue Trader era lightning claws. He has Rogue Trader era lightning claws, but it's a 2nd edition.
Right, yeah.
Terminator body, and you can tell because they have the diamond, and they have the diamond,
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas if you look at this one's sort of a 2nd edition Wolfguard one, as you can see, is like it's flat.
Yep.
The bottom of the shoulder pad is flat, so that's kind of the design the design difference between the two. But that means that unfortunately I only have like 4 Terminators. I don't know. Too many hobbies. The sergeant from the Wolfguard box.
Right, okay, yep.
But I had the arms from a different... This is from like the old... This one's from the Terminator Captain that came out much later. So if you notice he's got the extended arm.
He's got the sword, the power sword, and the extended bolter arm.
So I took the sword off the other arm.
Right.
And Khan's axe. So my plan was to use this guy. I guess he could be like a Logan Grimnar proxy. Terminator armor, chain axe. Because Logan, this is like Khan's axe.
Khan the Betrayer, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Project. Yeah, it's a good project. Because that would make that... I was looking at the 2nd edition list and I was like, what? You have to take a squad of 5 Terminators? That's...
What, you have to take a squad of 5 for Wolfguard?
In 2nd, yeah.
You do. You can't take 4.
You can't take 4.
Really?
It comes as a squad of 5 to 20. Oh, and you can either have them be all power armor. This guy as the Wolfguard champion. I realized recently that I've been playing all wrong the whole time.
Right, okay.
Because I didn't understand that Wolfguard champions, or maybe they don't. Do they have to lead a unit? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had like some sort of misunderstanding about how. So I used to take this guy by himself.
Yeah.
And he'd just be like a lone heavy weapon that would just stand around. And they can't take cyclone by himself. No, if he's by himself, then he can't take the cyclone.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So I'd been playing all wrong, which is a bit embarrassing. I played that all wrong. So I basically cheated all through second edition. So I basically played wrong. So I cheated. Hopefully none of my friends who I played with during that era
will ever see this video.
I mean, they're also we were also all 16, and I'm pretty sure they cheated the whole time too. Yeah. But anyway, but basically, this is like the most incredibly expensive squad in the history of squads.
Yes. Yeah.
Something I wasn't sure is like if you take a squad of, so that would be the full squad, right?
Yeah.
So I think like what I would really like to do is try to get an extra one of these. Mm-hmm. I don't know, lightning claw, just like an average, just like
just a chain
storm bolter. Just storm bolter, power fist.
Or storm bolter, power
like the cheapest. Oh, this one's a plastic body.
Ah. Cool.
This one's got a plastic body with the metallic arms because once again,
I
was too young, so I kept losing the models.
Right.
Or people stole them.
This army still, like after all these
years. Yeah, I had more. So there's a couple of things that are interesting about this collection. So if you'll notice, like all of these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's another one with a bunch of conversions. This one's so funny. I ran out of weapons, so I gave this guy a power knife as a chainsword.
Okay.
And that's the knife from, I think that's a knife from like a... Do you remember the box Terminators and Tyranids? It came with like scouts.
Sure do. Yep.
Scouts and...
The scouts had the knives.
I think that's where the knife came from.
Cool. I love those scouts. Yep.
But all of these are like the old Great Hunter metal bodies.
Right.
But the Great Hunter metal bodies, most of them were based on all kind of like... So these are really interesting because they are metal, same era but not Space Wolves.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's picking that up.
Yeah, speaking of it, yeah.
So it's just so funny how they kind of look smaller.
Armor. Yeah, I really like the size of these guys, the older early ones.
Yeah, compared to the... so then third edition came along and something that was... Mm-hmm. I think that, third edition had some things that I think were good. There was a bit... it had good things and bad things. Some of the rules were simplified in a way that was, I think, good.
I've never played third edition, so I've got no point.
Well, some of the I'm just saying like you have no point of reference. Yeah.
In terms of what
there were some things that it did that was good.
Yeah, they took a lot of things out, but I suppose they did it for simplicity and for tournament play and for organised play.
Yeah, I mean, and there were things that worked well. There were things that worked. I mean, getting a game in less than 6 hours was good.
If you want to play big games, you play third edition. Small games, 1,500 points, 1,000 points, second edition.
Yeah, it was good fun. Nice. It's just like second edition was a commitment. It kind of had that simulation mindset.
Yeah,
it's like this is like things happen and they're random, and you got to like rules to simulate everything. So whereas the other one was more like a game.
Yeah.
But some of the things that were nice was that being able to take a melter gun in your tactical squad. With the Space Wolves was nice,
and they got rid of that. They got special.
The only way to take a special weapon in second edition, because I was just looking at the codex now. Like I haven't opened it in 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have it. I have like a battle Bible,
right,
and a digital version like this, which is what we ended up using for a lot of the time because it had hyperlinks back when we started playing in the mid 2000s. I was like, wait, what? Grey Hunters can't take special weapons? And they're like, yeah, they can. The sergeant can take one.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's different. Right? Yeah.
That's a Sarge right there, isn't it?
Yeah, so, yeah, but I this guy got, he was like, one of my first models, so I kind of, and one of the things that I really liked about this model is that I gave him, and unfortunately it's fallen off.
But they glue them back together.
Yeah. But I gave him like a second, I gave him a second power sword to make him look like he was kind of...
Is he based on a very famous actor from a very famous film?
Is he?
Is he? When you're talking about the restaurant?
No, not this one.
Not this guy, okay.
The next one that I'll show you. No, this guy was... So this guy... this guy got kind of like... This guy is the Grey Hunter Sergeant from the original Grey Hunters books.
That's right.
But because he was such a veteran in my army, as I kind of transitioned toward 3rd edition, I kind of promoted him to Wolf Guard.
Right.
And was like, oh, he uses the 2 power swords, but sort of like in 3rd edition, power armor could take lightning claws. So he would be like a Wolf Guard with lightning claws as basically the veteran sergeant.
In power armor.
You can take you can take lightning claws in power armor in 3rd edition.
Okay.
Yeah, that became a thing.
Right.
But back then I would just use him as he just got a power sword, and an additional close combat weapon or whatever it is, right?
Well, I see a Wolf Guard there.
Yeah, so this one's a classic because as my army started growing, I started running out of Wolf Guard.
Right.
Because I only ever had this actual Wolf Guard model. The one thing I don't like about that guy, and I only kind of found that out later, was that I didn't know how to properly prepare the miniatures. So he still got the mold line down his face.
Right.
In metal.
Yep. Very cool. I can't notice it.
So whenever I see a model with a mold line in anything ever, I remember that, and I'm like, got to file down them.
Yep,
got to file down the mold.
It's one of those horrible things, realizations when you actually start cleaning a model, prime it, then you go to paint it, and you realize there's a big mold line right down the center.
It's always great when you find that mold line well into the painting process. So this is the old original Power Fist from the same weapon sprue that we were talking about earlier.
That's right.
As is that Power Sword. So here's the Power Fist again. So the way I used to use these, I think, was like the squad that had a sergeant with a Power Sword would have a Power Fist in it.
Yeah.
And kind of balance out the number of and types of special weapons in them. I think something that is, it's just like this guy doesn't really look like a sergeant, but having a melter gun in a tactical squad is pretty useful.
Yeah.
Particularly for an army that doesn't have a lot of special weapons. This is another nice conversion that fell apart on them.
On the journey.
Once again, that's using the...
the grenade welding one. Yeah.
Well, that's actually... It's a bike hand with a grenade from from a 3rd edition...
There you go.
Like little conversions. But this one's a real treat. Let's see if you can pick this one. All right, where's this one from?
Ooh, Space Crusade.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, very cool. Carnifex will like this one. Carnifex is the co-host on the Crown of Command.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Just in case you're just looking at me really strange.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
who's a Carnifex?
Carnifex is a fine.
Yeah.
I had to say I prefer the original Screamer Killer to the new 10th edition one that they're bringing out.
Me too, mate. But we won't go there.
We won't go. Yeah, so this is like a bunch. So I brought a bunch of
cool. Yeah.
A bunch of Grey Hunters, awesome. Basically because my Blood Claws have all got jump packs and they don't fit in these cases.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have brought like a pack of...
Oh, I like that little...
Yeah, so all of them have a little,
conversion.
Just me, a little arm tweak. It's just like, if you look at the bodies and you look at the arms that were available, unless you're having them kind of like holding the gun, kind of like... Unless you're using them like this guy, right?
Yeah.
Which still looks kind of dopey because he could like very easily shoot his fingers off, right? Like this guy's arms are not converted, right? Okay. But if you look at this, the pose of the Space Wolves, like this, this arm here that isn't converted, they just don't like their faces don't point the way the arm would point.
Yeah. I know what
because they're all kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
The bodies are more dynamic than the arms were. And that's kind of why I would always try to just shift the arms around. And I was, 15, 12, like 15 to about 20 something, working on this army. So this Dreadnought that came much later is kind of a bit more advanced in the conversion. So this Dreadnought is the plastic Dreadnought, and originally it had the winged skull.
Yeah.
So this guy, here I took horns off, I don't know, some plastic kit, some chaos kit to give him those tusks, and then I scraped that out, and this kind of diamond
sarcophagus
like
section there.
Yeah, so the sarcophagus has been modified so that I could fit that Space Wolf plate onto it, and then I gave him the...
I like how you did the shields. You did the shield and the other guy's arm.
Yeah.
This looks quite nice, actually, that shield.
Yeah, so the idea... So over time, that symbol there became... Like, originally I was using... Because, when you're a kid, you look at the box, you paint it the way the box looks.
Yeah.
Then I became sort of a teenager and I started rebelling. So as you rebel, you said, like, I'm not going to paint it the way the box says. I'm going to do something else with them. And over time, I started kind of like coming up with my own idea for an iconography. So you can kind of tell like which models were painted earlier and later because the ones that have the decals were painted earlier.
Right.
And you can tell they were painted a long time ago because the decals are like scraping, like falling off.
Yeah.
But this paw print kind of became what I wanted the army symbol to actually be. And the idea for that was that they were, the name for the army was the Hunt. And it was the concept was that it was like a company, one of the 13 great companies that was on a hunt for Russ, looking for... That's traveling into the Eye of Terror. Traveling into the Goblin Green, the world of Goblin Green land.
The golf course.
Yeah. Traveling to the demonic.
The golf courses of the 41st millennium.
Yeah, totally. I hadn't heard that. That's a good one.
Or Mario Land. It's like almost like
Mario. Totally. 1-1. World 1, stage 1. Yeah, totally.
When I play with my son and Mario, it looks like it's a 40k in a battlefield. And it looks very similar to the 90's Games Workshop.
Yeah. Same colour scheme.
They knew how to catch the kids, mate. That's how they did it.
Well, they got me.
Goblin Green.
Sure. And they had that kid. They had that one kid in the photos that was like this in all the promotionals and the white gloves. He was like... that's really funny. So the idea was like this was like the hunt for Rust. That was the concept.
Yeah.
One thing that I did really like that third edition did was that they increased the diversity of base sizes.
Okay, so this was a jump from 25 or 20 mil. Sorry.
No, these are 25 mils.
They're 25 mil. Sorry. 25
certain models.
Sorry.
Sorry, the 40 mil bases appeared for the first time the round 40mm bases appeared for the first time in 3rd edition. There was square 40mm before that.
Forever before that.
Yeah. Like the Rad Ogres, for example. The square 40mm.
Yeah, the monstrous size.
From the fantasy battles. Even though, like, the old Carnifex had that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it had the square one.
And the, what they call from Tyranid Attack, those big...
Tyranid Warriors, yeah.
Tyranid Warriors, that's
yeah, they were the original bulby-headed Tyranid Warriors.
Yep,
I still have some of those bits.
Brilliant.
I'm not sure what it...
The bone swords and everything like
that.
Yeah,
that's right, yeah. I actually gave one of my characters one of those Borzergs, because he was meant to be an auto... Xenos Inquisitor. Okay. You know that old Spaceman captain with the bionic leg, the bald captain with the digilasers?
Yeah,
you got him.
Somewhere, yeah.
I didn't bring him this time because I was like...
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's a brilliant model. So I changed him up. He only has the digilasers.
Yeah.
But I gave him like a bone sword with a bit of customization.
Cool. Okay, nice.
And he was like, I called him, what was his name? Inquisitor Goa. Inquisitor Goa.
He's a Goa.
Well, no, Goa, because it was around the time, that would have been around 96. I got into psytrance, and there was like a genre of trance called Goa trance.
Bad humor, mate, don't worry.
Goa, he's a Goa. Yeah, no, so he's like, so he actually has, I'll send you a photo when I get back.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
he's got like there was a label that did psychedelic trance music called the Dragonfly label. So he's got a shoulder pad that has like, I painted like
a dragonfly.
Yeah, and I was pretty proud of that.
Right.
At the time. Okay, so you are okay. There's a couple of key things. So I had a Ragnar. I'm not happy with the way he's painted. I don't know why he looks so blue.
Yeah, I know. Actually, he's very blue, isn't he? But he's like icy blue.
He's way too blue. He's icy blue.
Yeah,
and I don't like it.
Okay, well.
What I really wanted to do, because this is around the same time that I was playing like Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game.
Right.
So this guy wasn't Ragnar. I just didn't want to, I was rebelling once again. Yeah. I didn't want to have everyone be like, I've got the character that everyone has. I still use the stat line.
Yeah.
I usually didn't, but I kind of, so this one, the name of this one was The White Wolf.
Right.
Because that was the company that made.
Of course. White Wolf Publishing, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So.
Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, and Werewolf. So this, so it has like kind of those like pop culture references.
Right, gotcha.
This was one of the ones that came later that was never finished. He's got a 3rd ed ball pistol. Nice. And he was kind of one of those, I need a 3rd squad. Let's grab some of these old bodies and try to bring them together.
Yeah.
Got an arm there somewhere. But then there's a couple of other things. Oh, here's the other 2 remaining. The heavy bolter. These guys were great. Just the long fangs. The bodies of the long fangs were great.
Nice pelts on them.
Yeah, the pelts they had. Yeah. And the big chunky legs, which I think they sort of in the more recent Primaris Marines have kind of brought back a bit, that in the heavy weapons guys have like chunky legs or something. But I just always liked the long fangs, just the detail on them. And the heft. And his las cannon is
absolutely.
So like...
The heft is there, that's for sure.
It's like that, yep. And then, so then you mentioned something about... so I had this one guy... Let me just check something. So this... When it would have been like 1993, I got this guy, the Bjorn the Full-Handed, and a blister of Blood Claws.
Right.
And this guy here is one of those Blood Claws.
Right.
He was painted much later, and over time he kind of got promoted and became... Over time he got promoted and he became a Wolf Guard.
Right.
And then when the plastic jump packs came out, I was like, he'll have a jump pack. And this became Mad Mardigan.
Right, okay. I was going to say, it's a cracking paint job too, man.
Yeah, so this would have been painted a bit later.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
So I took the top off the Tigorius' staff, and he got the sword from. He got
Right.
So he's got a giant spear.
He's got the captain's sword, and he's got a
he's got a giant power spear. Force spear.
Force spear, right?
Yeah, and then I also added. I have to send you a picture of him. He's not finished painted. He was like the last thing I worked on this army. And then I've got another couple of little things because something that I really liked about 40k back in the day was Imperial Agents.
Oh yes.
So this is he's missing the epaulet. No, what's it called? No, it's not an epaulet. Like the jousting shield.
Right. Okay. I know what you mean. It's like a.
It's like a little shield that they used to come with. But I reckon I could probably make one up with plastic card at this
shield.
point. No, it's just a little. It's just. What it's called now. It was just a little like knight shield. But this is one of the original Grey Knights.
Wow. Actually, to be honest, both our armies are full of Jez Goodwin models.
These ones are also Jez Goodwin.
All Jez Goodwin.
Yeah.
Everything. So yeah.
Yeah, he's the
real deal. This guy.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Lovely, mate. That's excellent.
Yeah, that paint job. So this was Inquisitor Mitsubishi. Or something like that. Inquisitor in power armor, because I didn't have enough to get a Grey Knight squad.
Yeah.
And and if you're going to have a Grey Knight squad, you want to have these ones.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, something that they didn't design very well in that era was like how the arms hold the weapons.
Mm.
But I'm really happy with how this guy has this sort of like.
Because they just had like this the open hands, and then you had to glue the weapons into the palm of their hand.
Yeah, but also like look at the arm and there really wasn't a
much
good
room.
Position. There really wasn't a good there wasn't any good options.
Yeah.
It's like what was I going to do?
They all had the hands sticking out, kind of.
But also it's like they're going for a handshake.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got to give them a weapon. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So I kind of really liked the way this one turned out because I was always a massive fan of the force, the two-handed force. I think they've got a different name now at the moment, but the Nemesis Force Weapons was what they were called at the time. And they came in two formats. There was the glaive, which is the two-handed kind of type thing. It was more like a falchion actually. And then they had this like double-handed sword, which I always thought was just infinitely cooler. But I had absolutely no idea how it was meant to be posed. And if you notice, the metallics are painted with tin bits.
Oh, right.
Like original tin bits.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool.
And he's got his shoulder pad says Ordinata, which is the Inquisitor Goer's Ordinata, which is a mistake actually because it's meant to be Ordinata, which is the genus of dragonflies.
Right.
So that's the Inquisitor as a psyker to come along with the
cool.
But Inquisitors never travel alone, so he's got a little friend.
Nice. Aha.
And like he's and just
the
as the
original one, yeah.
Yeah. So this one's
Eversaw.
This is the second one I had, the Eversaw,
yeah.
So this is the second one I had because the first one got stolen. I was asked to do an exhibition and show my minis at a thing.
Yeah.
And all of my minis got stolen, including some amazing Rogue Trader era mercs.
Bastards.
And they didn't even remunerate me for it.
Jeez.
South America.
It's terrible, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a real challenge.
Yeah.
So he used to be painted very differently. Blue with a red skull as a homage to a friend who had he had an army kind of that was a homage to Red Skull. He's the one that gave me the one that gave me this Dreadnought. He's like an older brother type.
Sure.
He's about your age.
Right, okay.
Maybe a little bit older.
Very young guy then. That's nice.
Yeah, that's right. He's
just a babe.
Yeah, that's right. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. Taught me a lot.
Yeah, good.
Got me into techno too, which is pretty funny.
Nice.
We still nerd out all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to take photos of these and send them to him.
Yeah.
And he's going to probably
Hey, this other young guy I know in Japan collects all these models. And
totally.
Appreciate
it. Another one of us young chaps with real special, peculiar tastes.
Yes.
So I just like the idea of. Remember, these guys are meant to be kind of on the hunt for Russ, so they're sort of a traveling force, right?
Yeah.
And So they travel around, going in and out of the Eye of Terror or whatever. So because they're doing that all the time, the Eye of Terror, the Gulf of Terror, like the golf course of terror, because they're going in and out of the Gulf. Totally. Fall. It's like, so because they're going in and out of the Eye of Terror all the time, like I had this idea that they would always have like an inquisitorial retinue going with them, right?
That makes sense.
Sense. So so and this is what I brought.
Right, amazing character.
Yeah. So this is the sword from the Terminator Captain.
Oh, right.
The big.
Okay. Yes, of course.
The big metal sword.
Yep.
That we were talking about earlier.
That's
that I said, that one went to a different model. Yeah,
it's an awesome model. That. So people will be crying to see it being chopped up and used for other bits.
Hey, you should see my Instagram. You see my Instagram. I chop up limited edition Infinity models that are now worth hundreds of bucks, and they only came out like 5 to 10 years ago.
This joke. So great.
So he's just a character with no friends.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Because he's Mad Mardigan. Nobody really likes. I mean, everybody likes him, but they don't like.
Well, he doesn't like many other people, really, does he? So.
Well, he's a bit mad.
He's a loner.
Yeah. So he's like, you remember Willow, right?
Yeah.
In Willow, Mad Mardigan charges ahead, kills everyone, and then turns around. He's like, oh, look at me fighting! Can everybody see? And he turns around, and no one else has followed. That's the idea.
Yeah. Cool.
Mad Mardigan.
Yeah. Beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
It's a little homage to the great Val Kilmer. And that's one of the plastic arms. Oh, sorry, that's 2 plastic arms chopped up, kind of repositioned.
No, I like
to give him the nice little.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe it might give you some ideas for when you start doing your own second ed conversions. Because I find that those plastic arms. Yeah. Can we swear on this?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah.
I'm going to say that they're not the most evocative.
Yeah.
But they were pretty easy to chop up. I did these.
You haven't swore yet.
I know.
What evocative was the 4-letter word.
No. Well, I was just going to add some emphasis.
Okay. You've now showed it to me and talked about it. And,
I'm glad I got the chance to show it to someone who actually.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Feel free to cut out all the other stuff, the random stuff in between.
The people watching this will really, really appreciate it too. So.
Yeah, and you've kind of given me. Oh, I was going to say one thing, which is like. One of the things I like about the newer editions is the variety in base sizes, because I feel like some of these models, as models, because a model is an art form, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a model, I think they could benefit from a slightly larger base.
I know, for the footprint they have, I understand. I think they should have been a 30mm base. Would have been
like this. Yeah,
to obviously to put scenery on the base or make it scenic if you want
to balance it out a little bit.
But
not all of them.
For example, the Ragnar's foot extends over the base, and a lot of these Marines they do the same, and I understand that.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think I'd put the Terminators on 40s. But I think 32. But I think 32s would be great.
32s, okay.
And then 28s for the characters. Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see if we've got an army have a bit of a game.
Yeah, we need to make a list, 1,500 points, and we'll come back with our battle report. So,
awesome.
Thanks, guys, for watching.